Well, I wanted to show this picture because I remember, at least this is from the great rally that you put on at the State House that I was blessed to be able to speak at. And you were telling us, I think on your last appearance on my channel, that like those types of clothes, those types of like really nice clothes, like you couldn't wear those in China. They banned them.
That's another thing, similarities with what's going on today. Girls cannot look pretty. Don't look sexy. You will be criticized. Beautiful traditional Thai clothes were banned because they want you to look plain, no makeup either. Remember, we could not even date. Dating was banned. If you show crush on a boy, oh, you will go to principal's office and get right up. And the boy, they are not to show love letter to a girl. I remember one boy, he was tall in my middle school. He gave a love letter to a girl, and she turned him to teacher. And he never smiled again.
Oh
and
my God.
I have to confess, I feel guilty because she came talk to me first. I was class monitor. I was best student, red child, so brainwashed. I say, what should I do with this letter? Well, you should know. Go turn to teachers. You're not supposed to talk about this kind of stuff. That means romantic love and crushes. Look how red I was, right? And then that boy never smiled again. So every Valentine's Day, I always feel guilty. I always talk about Americans. You know how lucky you are. You were born in this country. You were privileged to be Americans. And too sad that for me that Americans don't appreciate their freedom they have. They are actually demonize their own country or even their own people. It's insane to me.
You know what? It's funny because I was thinking about this. So when the Anti CRT bill was going through committee last year in the House in New Hampshire, there were a whole bunch of people that came and testified for it. I testified for it. You testified for it. One of the people that testified for it was a 17-year-old. I think she was in Concord High School, but she was definitely in a local high school, and she was all put together, and she was very much opposed to the bill because she wanted critical race theory to be taught, and she talked about how she was a class monitor in Concord High School, now in New Hampshire. And I remember she actually started tweeting at me after she testified, like just being like a little uppity. And so I went on her Twitter timeline. Lily, I kid you not, she was holding a copy of Mao's Red Book on her Twitter timeline. This is a student now in Concord High School in New Hampshire that is a hall monitor or the class monitor, just like you were back then. I was like, mind blown.
Well, it saddens me to say history repeats itself. How do we give up our education to be controlled, dominated by all Marxist style, lefties, indoctrinate our children, and with our money, our property tax money is very high here.
Yes.
And remember, I told you I testified just a couple weeks ago with Charles Kelly to against this HB 304. They're trying to repeal our state law to say you cannot teach discrimination in schools.
Oh, I know.
Divisive concept. Guess what? 20-something teacher union supporters for the bill showed up with even 3 or 4 students, and we 2 aging women were outnumbered. But I'm sure some people, I wrote to them and testified to say online or something to say wrote to them, we oppose this bill. But I give my strong 2 cents. I represented the Aging American Coalition. I call the teacher unions out. You tell me you cannot teach history. You cannot discuss racism. I say that's not true. Nobody said that you cannot teach history. If you did teach real history, our students will know horror of communism. I said, I'm leaving history. I volunteered to go to see school. How about I go to school as speaker to teach your students? And the NEA clearly said on their website, we are going to push critical race theory into 14,000 public school districts. And we will have a budget to go after parents, community leaders, and think tanks. It's on their website. And the NEA Teachers Union here in New Hampshire and the other teacher union in Nashua, they sue our state.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they sue our state. They want to repeal this law.
Oh, I know. I actually read the lawsuit live on the channel not too long ago. And I don't know if you've had a chance to actually read this lawsuit, but it is a crazy lawsuit. And 2 of the teachers suing the state are actually, they're from the Timberland High School, where they banned me from school board meetings, Lily. I am not allowed to go to school board meetings in the Timberland School District.
Yeah, see, here's something I worry. I think some teachers are good teachers, but they're quiet, because think about how leftist school environment is. If they come out and push back, they can lose their jobs, they can lose their career. You know, the leftists are trying to even cancel Joe Rogan, which is just a podcaster who wants to ask lots of questions and give you 2 or 3 hours. By the way, I would love to go on his show to say, Joe, you know what? The cancel culture you're facing today, you know what? They were like a mouse culture revolution. You cannot give up. You have to fight.
We have to get Lily on Joe Rogan, guys. Make sure you're tweeting at Joe Rogan. I don't know how Joe Rogan books guests, so I wish I could help you on that, but we can tweet at him and stuff. But no, I mean, I've been really, like, I was really upset that he apologized, and I to be honest with you, not that I didn't think that some of the things he said were out of line, because quite frankly, he said some things that I really think he shouldn't have said. But it's not the point, and this is what people don't understand. It's like they don't want you to be like, okay, I'm sorry, my bad, we'll never do it again. That's never going to be good enough. It is all about compliance. It is all about submission. It is all about them proving that they have power over you. And I'm actually really worried. I really hope, Rumble offered Joe Rogan essentially the same deal that he had with Spotify.
Or better deal.
and you know what? I really hope he takes it, because I kind of feel like if he stays with Spotify, now that he's apologized and censored his own content, I feel like he's over the barrel if he doesn't. What do you think?
Well, the thing is so that anything, here are 2 rules for Chinese propaganda I know. Number 1, the party is always right. Never challenge that. The party could be now today's Democrat Party leadership, Joe Biden, the White House, that all the federal agents, DOJs, who even pressure private companies like Spotify to censor Joe Rogan. That's clearly violates First Amendment. And that secondary rule, for Xinhua News Agency, you just repeat the same lies. Then every day by lots of people, that same lie will become the truth. I have a faith in American people. I think American people, if the majority of them wake up and push back, and we will win. And I feel we have lots of liberty-minded people in New Hampshire, in this country, and we still have a Second Amendment. That's another reason you don't want to ever compromise on that. Then you will be like Australians today, or even Canadian today who are trying to rebuild back. So I think that the cancel culture is really using lots of tactics I saw during the mouse culture revolution. I would love to even get on Bill Maher's show and to remind him that, Bill Maher, you know what? You have been complaining about workalism, social justice movement, and young people acting like red guards. Well, listen to my story. Here's what happened under Mao. And that's why I'm terrified. American people got to push back now. We cannot let a few mob people dominate the culture and silence all the rest people. No human beings is perfect. Some people might say something bad in the past, might even cuss in, call somebody bad names, and that's going to get you completely canceled and get you silenced. And because it's like anti-racism is like some kind of temple we hold on to. Critical race theory, just like the Marxist critical class theory Mao used to divide people. That's why you have all those divisions, all those classes. Now we have all the, several groups of oppressors versus oppressed. And people of color like me supposed to be oppressed. It's like, you don't know how oppressed I was in China. I'm super happy in this country. I love America. And I wanted to, serve my country to say, we are not victims. We are survivors. We survive communism, and we recognize communists in this country. Just imagine me on the floor of U.S. Congress call out those socialists, the communist people who want to use the same tactics, who want to use taxpayers' money to fund their agenda. It's like, no, you're communists.